Hello coders, welcome back to my video. So, in this video, we will be seeing how to parse a unknown JSON data that is coming as a part of a configuration or from the cloud itself. Okay. So what we have done in the earlier video is like we have some predefined data and we know these are the objects that are there in the JSON data and we are parsing that as an object and getting the values that is defined in that data. Okay. But what if we don't know what are the strings that is coming to us as a form of JSON data? For example, we have some cloud connectivity and we are getting some data on the go to our server and we like from the server and we are processing that data and we don't know what are the object names, what are the key value pairs, like what is a key in that data, so that we can get the string, that value of that key. Okay, so for that JSON data, we'll call it a generic JSON data. So in this video, we will be seeing how to parse an unknown JSON data first. Then we'll see what is a parser algorithm to design such type of parser. And third thing is we'll have a practical demonstration of that. Okay. So let's first see. If you see here, we have example of unknown JSON strings. For example, I have a data like this. We have device version, Wi-Fi clients connected to it, enable is equal to true. And in the second part, we have some data which have the key as ABC and we have the value as 123. Similarly, we have XYZ as the key and we have this hello and the world is the value of string. Okay. So how to use and process this generic JSON data that is coming from the cloud. So there are various ways. Like first, we'll get to know why this generic JSON parser is required. Don't we have that keys already and we'll check that values of that keys in the processed JSON and we'll form that. So here, if you see at the first, we have a cloud or APIs that we have connected to the cloud. Our router is connected to the cloud and we have some JSON data that is sent from the cloud. And now we are processing that cJSON data using cJSON parse that we already discussed, and we have a generic JSON parser. And what this generic JSON parser will do is it will display the JSON. So first use case is it will only take the data, whatever is there. We are not processing it much, but we are displaying it on some GUI or on some app. Okay. So if not, we have to find our required keys. So for example, we have some key of connected clients, something like that, and we want to know what are the connected clients in that string, in that data, JSON data, whichever is coming. So we'll search that key in that whole JSON data, and we'll get that key and put our business logic. For example, we have to reboot, for example, a router from the cloud. So we'll click something on that cloud and it will send you the JSON data. And we don't know what kind commands are there. But once it come out, we'll process that data. We'll see what are the commands for the reboot. That string will search in that data and we'll get the value. Okay, they said for reboot, yes. So let's reboot it. It will run the command on your router and you will get the output. So similarly, we have to configure the Wi-Fi, update the setting and store data. So these all operations we can do from the cloud itself using this generic parser helpers. Okay. So this is very simple if you see. So what is our algorithm plan to process our JSON data? So first, we have to read our JSON data first. So first, this is the first point of our algorithm. We have to read it. Okay. Then we have to parse it. Then we have to create the root object for each child. Okay, it's a child object I'm saying here. Okay, and we have string, number, boolean, object, and array. So these all are the types of the data which we are having in the key value field. Like we don't know whether it is string, whether it is number, what is the boolean, whether it is an object. that is a recursive object or an array. So for that, we'll see all these things and we'll recursively parse it one by one. So first we'll see, okay, this is an object. In object, we have child object and then we have the key value pair or we have an array inside that and these are the values. So similarly, we will start from the top of the JSON and we'll parse till the end of the JSON file. So this will be our algorithm to parse our generic JSON data. Okay, I think you're clear with this. Now, what we are doing here is we'll quickly jump to the code and see how this algorithm can be implemented. Okay, so now I am here in the console and now I have a generic parser.c file. Okay, I'll just open it, will not go into much now. So the thing here is, in spite of getting the data from the cloud, I have created a random file. We'll change that file and get the output. Okay. So for that file, which I need to process is router.json. So this is a simple file I've created in a JSON format in which we have a key value pairs, we have device, we have version, we have Wi-Fi, the sub-object, and here we have key value pairs as channel number and SSID. And next we have the client in the form of an array where we have the collected clients having the name as laptop and IP as this. Second client, his name is phone, IP is this one, and we are enabling it here. So this is our test data. Okay. So now, our next part is I need to process this data. Think of this data is coming in the form of a cloud message as a part of a socket. Okay. So let's have what is there in our generic parser. So I'll start from the main itself and we'll go line by line to check what all things are there. Okay. So let's start from the main of this program. So the first command, if you see here, is we are opening our JSON file, router.json. Then we got a FP file descriptor. And now we are going to the end of that file, calculating the size. And we are pointing our FT back to the start of the file. Okay. Then I take the malloc of the size of our file and we are putting it in our buffer. Okay. And this buffer has been filled from this file descriptor of the size this 1 byte by 1 byte to this buffer. So once after this command in the buffer, we have the full JSON file data. At the last, at the last, I will put this null character and we will have this as a string. Then we close this file descriptor. Then the first command for the cJSON to parse is we are parsing this JSON data using cJSON parse. And once we pass the data, we get a root JSON. Okay. And we'll check whether it is null. If it is null, then we'll free the buffer and return from here. And if it is not null, then we will process the child of this root node. Okay. So once we go through the child and parse it, okay, then we will delete this root and we will free the buffer and return 0. Okay, simple as that. So what is this parse JSON do when we pass the child root object? Let's go to this function and see. Okay. So if you see here, I have this parse JSON function in which we have a node pointer. We're getting the node child. Okay. And here we are getting the label. Okay. So we have a while loop now because I want to iterate through that data one by one, object by object, and child object and array or string, whatever is there. So we'll process from the start only. So for that, I'll take a indentation first. Then I will print the node string here. Okay. Then what I will do here is I will check if it is a string. Okay. So if it is a string, I'll print the string value. So next is if that data is a number. Okay. Then it will print this node value double. Okay. Third thing, it will check if it is a bool, that node is a bool or not. So depending on that, it will give you true and false. Also, if it is null, it will give you null. It will print on the console itself. Okay. And here, if you have an object, another object, then we will do the recursion. We'll do this child and go one level up, and we'll parse each and every object. And once we get into the recursion, we again check whether it is null, whether it is string, whether it is a number, and what all. So depending on this recursion, if we have only one object, then this won't be parsed again. It is only one go. If there are multiple, objects, sub objects, and everything, so it will go like this, and it will calculate the values. Okay. So if it is a array, so if that node is an array, so what it will do, it will again print this thing, and it will parse again. It will go again to that recursion, and it will go for the childs of that, and it will print the similar way. And we have some indentation on that. Okay. And at the last, we close it with this, array thing, so that we can easily identify about the array objects. And at the last, we are iterating it. So until it is not null, it goes on iteration. So if you see here, in case of array and a sub object, we are iterating it. While in other case, we are just printing it up on the console. So this is how we can parse it. And let's compile it and see what is the data we get. So if I have GCC, I'll go for this and I'll compile it. And what if I just run our executable? If you see here, I get all the data that is present in that file, and we print it on the console. So if we want to compare it, we can do router.json. Okay, if you see here, we have two clients and enable, and these all things mentioned here. So this way, we have not put anything related to the object name or the array object name or the key value pair. So it is parsing one by one everything. Okay. So if I change it, let's change it and see whether it will work for random data or not. So here, if I do Wi-Fi 1, version 1, and PD, and here I will put it at the last. Okay. And I'll change to 11, 12, and here laptop 1, phone 1, and similar to that. So if I again parse, you'll see here your data is still there. At the last, you have 11, 12, and all the values have been changed. So the point here is it is not, uh, you know, predefined that these values or this object name will come. So it will pass everything this way. So this is how we'll pass the random JSON data in our code. So this all for this video, and let's see in the next video. Thanks.